Hi, my name is Claudia East, and this is my CEE 300 digital reflection. So I'm doing my digital reflection on the Pisces game, which we played at the end of March, beginning of April during the semester. For this game, I was on the Aquarius team, and you would use commands such as @PiscesTheGame, #stats, and that would give you this outcome from Pisces the game, which it gives you your boat size, which in this case was 73, your pond cap, which is how many fish you can keep in your pond at a time, your pond population, which was 29 in this case, that's how many fish they had in their pond, their stringer population was 0, and the lake population was 304, and that's how many fish were in the lake, which was where everyone fished from. And then they had a village population of 6, so they had 6 people on their team. There were other commands such as @PiscesTheGame, #BuildBoat, this could help you increase your boat size, #steal, there were all kinds of things you could do during the game. So in my case, because I was on the Aquarius team, my starting results, we had a boat size of 20, a pond cap of 213. We started with no fish in our pond, where there were other groups who started with some fish in their ponds. So that was a little unfair for us, but the whole message of this game was that life isn't fair. We had no non-stringer either. And at the beginning of the game, the whole lake population was 1,280, and that was for all of the groups that were competing in the game. And then our village population was 6, so we had 6 people on our team. So that meant that at the end of each round, we needed 4 fish per member to survive the round. So we needed at least 24 fish at the end of each round to survive each round. So day 1 of the game, we went to go fish for 24 for the end of the round because that's how many we needed to survive the round. But as you saw on the last slide, our boat could only hold 20. So unless we increased our boat size before the end of the round, we were not going to be able to survive, or basically not all of our group members were going to be able to survive the round. Only 5 would be able to survive the round. So then we decided to try and increase our boat size by 10. But we didn't have 10 fish, we had 0, so our boat size remained 20. After talking with other groups for a while, we had to basically at that point just convince another group to give us some fish, because other groups did start with some fish in their ponds. So in the end, we convinced the Gemini to give us 6 fish, which we then increased our boat size by 6 fish to 32 fish. And then we ended up, at the end of the round, we fished for 26. We didn't want to fish for too much more than we needed because the point of the game was to be sustainable and survive the entire week. Like, everybody had to survive the entire week. So it was either one group was going to win and kill off all the other groups, or all the groups would work together to become sustainable and everyone would survive the round. So we only fished for 26. That left us with 2 fish to increase our pond later, and it fed all 6 of our members. So each round ended at 10:15 a.m. and then the next round would begin as soon as the last round ended. So in the middle of the night, Virgo had come and stole the 2 fish that we had, and it angered Aquarius a little bit because it was the only 2 fish that we had. So our ethics kind of went out the window, and we ended up stealing 22 fish from Virgo. Just because we were angry at them for stealing all that we had. We didn't know that we could guard our pond, which is how they stole the fish. We then invested 22 fish into building our boat right away because, again, we didn't know that we could guard our pond. And then we fished for 54 fish because at this point, everybody was just fishing for more fish than they needed. And so we figured, hey, let's fish for enough fish to last us a couple days, just in case anything happens. So we ended up figuring out how to guard our pond by looking at other people's tweets. So we guarded our pond, and then near the end of the round, we ended up having to give Virgo 6 fish. So we had felt bad about stealing their fish, and their group members were going to die. So we decided to give them 6 fish to help them. So then at the end of the round, we had the same boat size of 54, same pond cap. We didn't increase the size of our pond. We then had a pond population of 61, so then we were able to survive for a few more days. But the biggest issue was that the lake population was 227, this was only day 2, and we had decreased it by more than 1,000 fish. And decreasing the lake population by that much in just one day was obviously going to be a huge issue if we were going to continue to survive for more rounds. So we had to figure out how we were going to keep surviving. So day 3, the final day, it wasn't supposed to be the final day, but it ended up being the final day because, well, I'll explain that in a second. So our grade was 176, so we were doing pretty well by day 3. But obviously the lake population was super low, and a bunch of people had fished a ton the night before. And what they were doing was increasing their boat size, which we learned in class was not the best way to go about it because we were just wasting fish by increasing our boat sizes. Because those fish couldn't be eaten, and then we couldn't put them back in the lake. We couldn't do anything with them. We just had huge boats, and a big boat didn't matter if there were no fish to fish for. So then what started happening is people just started giving people fish. They were using this command, give negative fish to whoever, which basically what was happening is they had their guard on, and we found a glitch in the game that if you had your guard on while you were giving away fish, you could give away mass amounts of fish. So as you can see, people just kept giving us more and more fish until we had thousands of fish. There were groups that had tens of thousands of fish. And so what we had essentially done was broken the game, and then the game immediately had to end. So in the end, the moral of the story is that originally we should have planned it out, worked together. We shouldn't have been increasing our boat sizes. We should have just been sharing fish right off the bat. The roughly 1,300 fish would have been enough to get us through the entire thing. And if we could have figured out a way to be more sustainable, that would have been the best way to go about it, rather than finding a glitch in the game, because finding the glitch in the game wasn't supposed to happen. It was just luck. And so if I could give any advice to future groups playing this game, is work together, don't build your boats more, just figure out how to share fish and be sustainable.